Friday Sports Riot on SportsTownChicago.com.
What's up? This is the Friday Sports Riot on SportsTownChicago.com. I'm Ryan Hoppy.
And I'm Ryan Stuppridge.
To call us, it's not too hard. It's 630-403-5200. It's 630-403-5200. And let's get the show going. On the phone line from 104.3 The Fan in Denver, we have James Gomez to talk some Rockies. What's up, James?
Hey, how's it going? It's Ryan and Ryan.
Yeah.
All right.
So let's begin with some hockey real quick. How far can the Avalanche go in the playoffs?
How far can they go? That's the million-dollar question here in Denver. I think you'd probably find the consensus being how far can Semyon Varlamov take them? This is a really good young team, lots of talent that's really only scratching the surface. I mean, you think about the names, Nate McKinnon, 18 years old, and Gabe Landeskog, he had a goal last night. Matt Duchene, who's not going to play in the Wild Series. But Paul Stastny, the hero, still really a relatively young player. A lot of youth on this team, no experience whatsoever for the playoffs in the big picture. But I think it really will press on Varlamov. We all know that you've got to have great goaltending in the playoffs, and I think it's in net. I think if Semyon can continue to be great like he's been in the regular season, and they have who knows what they can do, but they just continue to surprise.
And are people excited for this team, and is hockey sort of a popular sport in the Rocky Mountains up there?
Yeah, it is. They are very excited. Obviously, with the way the Avs have been playing this year, it's causing a huge stir here in Colorado. The game last night was one of the best games we've seen, I think, locally in quite a long time. It's been a full-year absence for the Avalanche, but there's still a huge fan base here that was a big part of the Stanley Cup in '96, a big part of the Stanley Cup win in 2001. So there's a lot of Avalanche fans that have kind of been waiting for the Avs to get back to glory and kind of see if they can get back to where they used to be. And this is the best Avalanche team we've seen in a very long time, probably since they've had Sakic and Waugh. So I think that this is a great hockey town, and it's starting to all come together again.
And now moving on to some Rockies, what is it like not seeing Todd Helton out there?
I don't think it's been that crazy for Rockies fans. I think for the last 5 years of Todd Helton's career, he was good, and then he kind of trailed off the last couple of years. I mean, honestly, he really wasn't that great. I mean, he was really more of a hamstring than anything. He still gave you a good glove at first, but, his average had gone down. He couldn't hit for power anymore. His back was shot. He couldn't play more than 3 games in a row. He wasn't that great of a first baseman when he retired, but that's kind of what's expected when you have a guy that, played for as long as he did. You're not going to be great at the end of your career. Justin Morneau is not really a huge improvement. He's obviously a younger improvement, that's for sure, but Morneau obviously is not the guy that he used to be ever since he had his injuries. So there hasn't been a huge drop-off, really, if any. It's been fairly steady. And, I think fans were kind of ready for this to happen. I think he kind of eased into retirement because it wasn't an abrupt difference as far as production.
The Rockies have been a bad team the past few years. How can they improve in the tough NL West?
Well, obviously they're gonna have to continue the great bullpen play that they've been getting. The bullpen, when the season started, didn't look like they're going to be very good, but ironically, the bullpen's been pretty decent. They got the 3-1 win last night. Mm-hmm. If the bullpen can't continue to pitch well, then I think that'll keep them in games. I think most importantly for the Rockies out here, you're going to produce runs. You're in Coors Field. You're in the best batter's park there is, but your 1 through 5, your starting pitching rotation is going to have to be solid. And they've had injuries with their starting rotation. Brett Anderson's out. Julius Justine, they're still waiting to get him back. He should come back. But that's what they're going to have to get. They're going to have to get the rotation healthy and intact. And Jorge De La Rosa, who's supposed to be their ace, has not looked great so far.
Right.
He's a huge part of that. He's going to have to step his game up as well.
Now, is it surprising to you that the Rockies maybe in these last few years aren't as good as they should be with having two stars on their team with Carlos Gonzalez and Troy Tulowitzki?
You guys are in Chicago. You guys get to watch the Cubs, and you guys get to watch the White Sox. You know how important pitching is.
Oh, yeah.
In baseball. I don't have to tell you guys that. So, if you can have a good lineup, and they do. I mean, the Rockies look at the National League. They got a good lineup. They really do. But you've got to be good at pitching, and that's what wins the playoffs. And that's what separates the good teams from the great teams, and even the average teams from the good teams. And until they get good pitching, until they're there on the mound, then that lineup with, yes, Troy Tulowitzki, and yes, Carlos Gonzalez, two of the best bats, maybe arguably two of the best position players in the game, it's not going to do you a whole lot when you've got to win those close games against other teams' aces.
What can the Rockies do to improve their pitching?
Well, you know what? They don't know. They have no idea. That's the thing. The ownership here, they've got the guys in charge, Bill Guyvet, Dan O'Dowd. They've been here for close to 20 years, and they don't know how to do it. They've been completely unsuccessful when it comes to developing pitching. Here's what we do know. You're not going to get big-time free agents to come to Colorado. Nobody wants to come and pitch here. So basically what you're left with is having to develop your own players, and that's what the position the Rockies are in. They've got to draft well, and they've got to develop pitchers well. Those are two things that they have not done well at all, and so that's what has to change. They've got to draft well and develop well, and once they start doing that, and they develop guys that can pitch in, here in Coors Field, then they've got a shot. But until they turn that around, then it's not going to happen. But that's what they got to do to improve the pitching. And I don't know if they've got the chops to do it. They certainly have shown they don't.
Where should the Rockies look in this next MLB draft?
I really think they just look to collect on pitching. You get a collection of starting pitchers. That you can never have enough good starting pitchers, in my opinion, because they always get injured. But first base, that's still a huge issue for them. Todd Helton, you guys brought it up. He retired, and who's his replacement? Justin Morneau. You need to get better at first base. I don't think they have anyone that's in the organization right now in the minors that they really feel is their first baseman of the future. I don't think Wheeler's that guy who's been hovering in the minors. So they've got to get that figured out.
Now, overall, where do you see the Rockies finishing this year?
Well, they finished last season. You look at the Padres. That's a team that they might be better than. The Rockies are they're a game under 500 now. Mm-hmm. The Diamondbacks have had a horrific start to the season. I think the Rockies are probably a fourth best team or fifth best team. They're going to finish last or second to last, probably. Yeah,
and I know it would be nice to see Carlos Gonzalez and Troy Tulowitzki have full, healthy seasons and perform well because they are two very good. Because they're two very good guys to have on your team. And do you like the new replay rules this year in baseball? And do you think it sort of slows down the game, or do you think it can help?
I like the replay rules. I really do. I think that anytime, look, every other sport does it. And the NFL does it, college football does it, hockey does it, NBA does it. Everybody looks at plays a second chance when you can. You want to get the play right. It hasn't worked, but I mean, you tell me a game in the NFL where even with the replay they still got it wrong. I mean, you're going to get things wrong. It's the first time they're doing it, so I'm definitely all for it. I think it'll get better as it goes. And does it slow the game down? It's baseball. I mean, we're talking about a sport where people sing songs, in between innings, and these games last forever. Then you get a bad call. Managers can come out and they're going to waste time arguing for a few minutes anyway. So, the replays have been quick. They look at it. It's all taken care of in New York City, so you don't have to worry about the umps there on the field. They can take a look at it. They can get the call figured out in a minute. So, to me, it's fine.
Do the Rockies have a good fan base, or is all the attention going to the Broncos lately?
Well, yeah, Broncos number one, that's for sure.
Right.
I think the fan base for the Rockies is there's a lot of baseball fans in this town. Denver's an interesting market. You know, the huge difference between Denver and Chicago is that in Chicago you've got the White Sox and the Cubs who've been there for like 100 centuries. You guys have been there for centuries with your baseball team. So, you know, the Rockies are new. They've been around for 20 years. So, you know, you don't have this fan base. So anyone my age or older, they grew up with other teams that they root for. So there's a lot of, plus there's a lot of people that move to Denver. Denver's a growing city that gets people from around the country. So, you know, you've got fans of all kinds of different teams. So the Rockies don't have that big emotional fan base that's been with them forever, but there's a lot of baseball fans in this town. But competing with the Broncos, no way. The Broncos are Denver. They're ingrained in Denver. That's Denver's number one team. There's no second. There's no second to that. It is the Broncos for sure.
What happened to the Nuggets this year? Is it because they got rid of George Karl as a coach? What happened to them?
I think there's a lot of things about. Getting rid of George Karl didn't help them in terms, at least in the regular season. I mean, you can say what you want about George Karl in the postseason. That's ultimately why he was fired. But, George Karl in the regular season was great. This is a team that won 57 games, but they had no identity. They bring in a guy with a completely different system in Brian Shaw. And, they try to win that way. And then they had a lot of injuries as well. Keep in mind, Ty Lawson missed quite a bit of time. Danilo Gallinari never played. I'm not a big fan of JaVale McGee, but he really didn't play this year either. And then you bring in a few different guys like Nate Robinson and a guy like J.J. Hickson, two capable players, guys that can put up decent numbers for you. But Robinson, let's be honest, he's really a backup. You guys don't well in Chicago. He can't keep a team. He can't. He's really a head case off the court.
Yeah.
I think he just gave Brian Shaw. You didn't give him a lot to work with in year one, and I think he's still learning as a head coach. But it's been bad this year, without a doubt. It's been really bad, and you have to start to wonder: are they really going to get a whole lot better? You have to hope that with Ty Lawson healthy and Danilo Gallinari healthy and JaVale McGee healthy next year, they will be better. I don't know how much better they're going to be, but I guess that's the hope here in Denver.
And before we let you go, where can people find your work online and on the radio?
Oh yeah, I'm online on Twitter. You can follow me at Jago the Fan.
Okay.
I produce the late night show on 104.3 The Fan, and you can find 104.3thefan.com. You can check us out there. We're 9 to midnight Mountain Time, and I have a show on Mile High Sports Radio out here as well on the FM dial. That's Sunday mornings, 10 to noon here in Denver. Yep.
Okay.
Well, James, have a good weekend, my man, and we'd love to have you on again.
Hey. You got it, guys. Have it going.
Thanks.
Keep some deep dish for me.
Okay.
Sounds good. Thanks, James.
Definitely.
All right, guys.
And that was James Gomez of 104.3 The Fan up in Denver as he came on to Friday Sports Riot on SportsTownChicago.com to talk about the Rockies. What was your take real quick, Ryan?
Well, I like how he says that, having Todd Helton leave and then being replaced by Justin Morneau,
yeah.
I mean, that's not an upgrade. It's not an upgrade.
No, it's not.
And kind of suck that nobody really wants to play in Colorado because they got those two All-Stars and Carlos Gonzalez.
And weed's legal now, so why wouldn't you want to go there?
Right. And they got Carlos Gonzalez and Troy Tulowitzki, two of the best players in baseball. And, they can't get any free agents that want to play for them, so you have to sort of build your farm system up, and that takes a lot of wear and tear on the fan base.
I promise you, we will see some new free agents that are kind of like journeymen join because they like to smoke their weed. Call the show.
It's possible.
Why not?
Yeah, why not?
Why not? 630-403-5200, 630-403-5200, and tweet at us, at HoppyRadio893 and at Ryan STUP Rich. We will be right back and catch up on breaks. And up next at 4:30 from 670 to Score, Wayne Randazzo is on. And up next, we'll give my take on Kaepernick being accused of rape. Hang on.
The Friday Sports Riot on SportsTownChicago.com.